welcome everybody to this episode of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with either one, brother, one of y'all.
KB in the
Oh,
house.
yes,
You know
Keith
what I'm saying?
Barnes
And
in the
you know your
house.
boy Fluke always here. You know what I'm saying?
10-4,
Oh,
man.
yes.
Good afternoon to y'all brothers, man. Good afternoon.
Hey,
Good
good afternoon,
afternoon,
brother.
everybody. All right, good
Well,
afternoon.
well, well, late afternoon. Let me be more accurate. How about that? This is Strong Perspective Podcast. When you get a chance, like, share, and subscribe um, to our YouTube channel by the same name. Try to build up our numbers. Give us a make sure you give us a little feedback and what we could do better. We even deal with the trolls too, but what we could do better. This is a conversational podcast. What we try to do is promote conversations amongst each other, doing our thing. I'm gonna mute you for a minute, Keith. Trying to do our thing to promote conversation amongst each other. Um, please understand that we enjoy what we're doing. This is a beautiful thing I can speak for myself, but I have definitely enjoyed every moment of this journey, this 3 year journey, the different conversations. No conversation is the same, which that is a great thing. That is a great thing. Um, our other host, Jaquari, he won't be joining us today. You know what I mean? Life be lifing. He got to work. Got to work. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see you next week, Jaquari. Don't work too hard, brother. Damon, how was your day today, brother?
Uh, day was good, man. You know what I'm saying? The day was good. As I assessed the whole thing. Matter of fact, the whole week, man, I was like, man, life is good, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I was able to deal with whatever came my way.
Okay. Steve Barnes, brother, how was your day today?
My
Oh,
man KB.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, my day was good. It was eventful. It was, but smooth. Got off kind of like where computers went out where I was getting loaded and stuff, and so that delayed things. Uh, as I was telling you about earlier, I had a episode of some road rage with a sister in Atlanta.
Wow.
Yeah, quickly, I'll just tell you, it was, I have some responsibility because I made a right on red. I'm driving a semi, so it takes off slow. It's loaded. And she didn't appreciate it. She come out of nowhere flying. She went around me, and then cut me off. And then she was hit brake checking me. So I'm trying to go around her. I'm still changing gears, speeding up. And then she's making this like she's going to shoot me. And she kept brake checking me, and I'm thinking to myself, like, sis, please go ahead. Go ahead, sis.
Right.
Go ahead. Because you got your fingers, and I ain't got my fingers in my lap. If you come out of that car, man, this is the problem neither one of us need.
None of us need that problem.
Yeah. And that would be heartbreaking. But, I'm coming home.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it all worked out. So I just got back here a little while ago from Atlanta, and I'm feeling good, man. Everything's good.
Good, man. Good, good, good.
Good to hear, man.
I myself am feeling good also. Just trying to make it through the summer. When the summer come in, my youngest one will complete his 11th grade year, going into his senior year. So, you know,
Wow.
that's a great accomplishment. You know what I mean? And
I'm just getting here.
yeah, 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 man. Yeah.
Hey,
Me too.
Key,
Huh?
when he first told me about him, I was like, damn, bro, you starting anew.
Yeah.
and now he at the end. It's like, okay, you said,
Yeah.
hey, you got through it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got through it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
But look, but like I said, I'm okay, man. You know, just understanding that my table is set for greatness. You know what I'm saying? I saw something the other day and wanted you to, guys, your quick comment on it, guys. It was Psalms 23, chapter 5, verse 23, chapter 5. It says, yeah, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but what it says is, enemies, enemies are necessary to sit at the table that God prepared for you. The greater the enemy, the greater the table that to be set. Your celebration will be in the presence of your enemy. In your own words, guys, I'll read it again if you need me to read it again, but we'll start with you, Damon. What did you take from that quote?
What I take from that, man, is that there's a possibility that might happen in your life, but how often does it happen, bro? You know what I'm saying? You got enemies that test you, test your resolve, test your spirit, and all that stuff. But does it happen on a regular basis, or is it that prominent, during the time that it happens? And we think that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Most times, man, life is grand, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can pick good things that happen to you in life and good people more than those times where the enemy's sitting at the table, right? I mean, that at least that's my experience.
Okay.
And it's incumbent upon me to recognize that, you got to take the bitter with the sweet, but the sweet happens more or oftentimes than not. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about attitude. You know what I'm saying? How do you take life? Life is mostly good times. You know, then the threat is imminent. It's always out there, but it might be 10 years before somebody pull a gun on you or something, or cut you off in traffic. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Keith, so what did you take from it?
Yeah, I was just we were just actually with some of the brothers were talking about that actual verse, and the breakdown of it is like when it's saying the table, it's a little bit deeper than that. They're not really talking about a eating table, so to per se.
Yeah.
It's talking about the table is what they used to write on the tablets.
Okay.
That table, and the table they're referring to is actually the Bible, because the Bible is our people's Israelites. It's our people's, and our includes us. We all on this panel right now. That's our true race, Israelite. But anyway, it's referring to the Bible because that's our guidebook for life. The enemies are all those others, like during back in that time with slavery, we had been enslaved by different groups of people. So he was saying that God, through the tables, we would obey what was on those tables, which was God's laws. And by doing that, he would make sure our enemies, the people that had enslaved us or took advantage of us, they would watch us prosper. No matter what's going on,
Yeah.
we would prosper in front of our enemies. So they were saying they would be at the table. That's what it meant.
Okay.
They would be witnessing us prosper. And it made me think about what they were talking about here lately was with the tariffs and all this other stuff, how everybody's on edge and everything. And we as a people, it's a Friday to us.
Mm-hmm.
We doing what we doing. We still surviving. We doing what we usually do. Are we feeling the effect of it? Yeah, but we just adjusting like we always have done.
What look, not and not adjusting by choice, but what we've had to do.
Exactly. So that was my take of it.
Okay. And you both you guys really and truly had great takes on it. But when I was reading it, what came to my mind is this: when it says enemies are necessary, when it says enemies are necessary, it brings you into focus on exactly what you need to do as a person, as a man, as a human being. It sculpts you. It forms what foundations you need and who you are. It helps you to shape your character. You know what I'm saying? And the table, just like you said, you see it as the Bible, tablets, and things like that. Table to me was life, living your life as you're going forward, understanding that the table that's set for you is your actual life before you. And this is what made me even be interested in it, because as I was reading it and just casually reading it, I wasn't studying, just casually reading it. It was my mind's eye put me in the place of my enemies help forge my constitution and who I am. My table is my life. You know what I mean? And the greater my enemies, the greater my life is. I think a mistake that I personally made, was when I was young, I used to think that if I do good, then I will receive good back. If I treated people well, then people will treat me well back. And as I gotten older, what I've come to realize, and it's through prayer that I came to realize this, is, man, you do good because that's in you. You don't look for a reward to do good. Because what made me think that is I've seen God bless evil, bad people. I've seen him bless evil, bad people. I mean, it is the truth. He blesses everyone.
Well, hey, I just had to figure out if I blaspheme or whatever, just kick me right on out, man.
No, you was
good. Did I say something wrong?
No, but that's what I came to that conclusion. Like, yo, when I do good for someone, whether it's out of blue, whether they deserve it, whether they do deserve it, or whatever, right? If it's a stranger, if it's somebody that I love, when I do these things for them, I had to teach myself not to have an expectation to receive something back. Now, on a lesser degree is if I feel like somebody don't appreciate it because my maturity level is where it is, because it's very low sometimes, I'm going to have a problem with that. Oh, you don't appreciate the fact that I did this. I'll go without for you for this. And then you come at me like it's an expectation when it comes to our children or our loved ones, right? But then I had to get out of my way with that. I had to get out of my way. Like, man, that's a waste of energy to feel that way. But as I said, when I was reading the scripture, what popped into mind was the enemies helped me create help me to be ready for the bigger table, my life. My life is going to be bigger because I weathered the storm of them. You know what I mean? So it's so many different interpretations of it. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I wanted to bring it to Strong Perspective Table, because it's like, wow, let me see how other people think. Because I don't think it's just one way of thinking. I know being a Hebrew Israelite, Keith, of course, you're going to be geared toward your teachings. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes there's lesser meaning to that and more meaning to it. You know what I mean? So, Damon, let me ask you a question. And it has a lot to do with um, because Keith has been a mentor and he's helped raise other women's children, right? But I'm gonna ask you this first, because you have your own children. When it comes to what do you think the best approach to motivate your children to strive to be better in life for themselves? Do you think the responsibility is on you, or do you think the responsibility should be on your children by following your example?
The responsibility is on me because I am the father, the head of the house.
Okay.
The responsibility is there in terms of understanding them and where they are in their life. You know what I'm saying? The one thing that you have to recognize and realize is that as you raise your children, you get to know them. You get to know what moves them, what motivates them, what upsets them, what triggers them. You know what I'm saying? You understand that. And it's incumbent upon you to be able to understand how to navigate through them and who they are or trying to be to get them to understand themselves. It has nothing to do with me personally. I believe how I believe. They can disagree all day. You know what I'm saying? My only job is, if there is a disagreement, to understand where they're coming from, not to prove them wrong.
Gotcha.
But to understand where they're coming from through the journey that they're going through. You know what I'm saying? If you believe that out of the 8 billion of us on this planet, that we have similar experiences, but we are different through God miracle, then you have to understand that they have to focus and understand what they're going through to have wisdom. And that all pertains to them and what their purpose is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
People have this understanding that you have to be like what society dictates to you, but that's not the case. You've been put on this earth for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And that reason is personal. You know what I'm saying? The reason is personal, and they have to figure out what is the meaning of that situation and what it means to them and how they navigate that and become wise, become better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't know if I'm making sense to you, but
Are you making sense to yourself? Then you're making sense.
when I think about it in retrospect, me personally, there are things that I learned and understood about myself that I didn't get from anybody else. I had to learn or go through the process.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then once I understood it, implement it in my role, you know what I'm saying, in my life.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the mistakes that you make is yours, and it's yours alone. You know what I'm saying? And you have to figure out how to, you know what I'm saying, if it's a windfall, you know what I'm saying, you ride it out. If it's something, man, that you have to learn from, no matter how long it takes, man, you just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And you don't know who's paying attention to you, man. Who has similar experiences but don't know or don't get it, and you might show them a way. You know?
Keith, I don't know if you heard me when you went off screen, but I know you to have raised some very to help raise some very good young men. And when it comes to what you think, and my question to you is, what do you think the best approach to motivate children to strive for a better life for themselves? Do you think it's a responsibility of you solely and their mother, or do you think the burden of the responsibility is on the child? Are you with me, Keith? Okay.
What do you mean by the burden of the responsibility? What do you mean by that, man?
I mean, it's something that you explained earlier. You said some of those things that you learned on your own.
Right.
I mean, some people, even if they have fathers and mothers in their lives, sometimes their fathers don't or mothers don't know how to communicate life lessons, and then later on they run into people who kind of set the table for them to do something, to make a change in a thoughtful way. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean, the burden on them. Not the burden where the extreme definition of burden, but honestly, there is, no matter what degree it is, when somebody's teaching you something, you still have a burden to learn it. That's your burden. You know why I call it a burden, right? Is because, hell, this might be important for you to live, you personally to live. So you got to be able to accept this conversation, these teachings. You feel me?
Accept the fact that you have a responsibility to learn from your mistakes.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Right. So I mean, you could come to an understanding that you were treated wrong, or whatever, and you can harbor feelings about that. But does that put you on the path of learning from it and saying, you know what, I can make something positive I can make something positive out of being wrong in the situation? You know what I'm saying? And come to a conclusion that you draw from your own personal experience, because somebody else's personal experience is not your own. You know what I'm
saying? I get that, but we're pretty much in the same ballpark. We're not saying exactly the same, but I agree with you when you say that.
Well, I'm asking, you know what I'm saying? I'm not.
You're learning from your mistakes, of course. If God and the circumstances give you time to learn from it, give you room to learn from what you did, or what you allowed somebody that you brought into your life to do. You know what I'm saying? Because you could sit there and be and make a judgment like, yo, I'm not going to trust anybody anymore because somebody took full advantage of what was going on with you, right? And you trusted them. In your growth, I'm talking about, when it comes to parents, friends, whoever, right? But isn't it just life? Isn't it just life? Is you just going on?
Yeah. Ultimately, it boils down to trusting your experience and learning from it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People can give you all the answers that you might need, but if it doesn't jive with what you're going through, you know what I'm saying? People, it's one thing, man. The people identify with each other, and that's going through pain and anguish. You know what I'm saying? So we listen to songs and stuff like that that identify with that. But what we have a tendency not to do is understand how we get through it through our own experience. Whereas you might identify with the pain, but there's not that situation where, okay, how you work through it. Because most people, not most people, but a lot of people would rather be in pain and find like people as opposed to saying, okay, how do I get through not feeling this pain? I'm saying, how do I become wiser
Good
in
point.
that aspect?
That's a good point. Real good point.
I got a lot of stuff in front of me. I'm trying to read.
Well, look, let me do this. Marcus Smith, friend of the show. I wanted to read his statement because knowing him like I do, this is a personal thing for him, and it's important to him. He said, I lead my family as a role model for my children, trying to be an example for them. As they grow older, some of their challenges will be different, and I'm not perfect, so I might not have set the best example, but I try to be approachable so they can feel comfortable enough that we can talk out any obstacle they may face. Hopefully, I'll lay the foundation for them to make healthy decisions on their own. I read that, Marcus, because I like that. I think what Marcus said is a foundation on what we try to be, because sometimes it's layered. When it comes to fathers or heads of households, it's layered. And what Marcus described is the foundation of the many layers depending on your personality or who you are as a person. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's a narcissistic thing with someone. Sometimes it is more of a fear-based thing, and getting to that foundation as far as to lead by example. Sometimes it is a more of a laissez-faire. Let them figure it out.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
I mean, but see, that's the thing about it is, how are they gonna figure it out if you don't give them a taste of how you figured it out?
That's instilling confidence, man.
But no,
listen. For example.
Hold.
Go ahead.
Listen to my question. I don't disagree with what you're saying. Let them figure it out, right? But if you have not given them something, just a small tidbit, something to hold on to so they can figure it out, how are they going to figure it out on their own? That's my question. Do you think?
What is it that you think you're giving them, man, for them to be inspired to figure it out for them?
Your own personal experience.
Right. You know what? My personal experience is that I have a child to tell me, man, why is it always about you and your experience, man? It ain't got nothing to do with me. But see, you can fall into that.
But see, here's the thing. If somebody tells me that, if somebody says that to me, I understand what they're saying, but I don't understand why would you even say that if you're trying to find an answer. Because what I can give you is my experience. It is nothing omnipotent that I'm able to give. Right?
Well, it's just people feeling comfortable with the answers that's given to them, man.
No,
if they don't agree, they're not going to agree.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, you misunderstand me. I ain't saying, but what I'm saying to you is just trying to, putting yourself in a position where, like, yo, you got to take something from me so you can figure this out on your own, because it's obvious that's what you want to do. You want to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, but there's nuances in that, bro. And the nuances is that I'm not you. What if they admire you? And what if they see you at a certain light where they say, I can't be you? You know what I'm saying? Life is not as easy for me as it was for you. What if they come to that conclusion? Then what is your answer?
First of all, this is my own personal thing. Do I want you to be me? Is that what you're getting from me? Because it's a mistake if you think I want you to be like me.
But
from
what
my
if that's the
own.
conclusion that they come to?
You know,
That you're trying to get me to be like you.
first of all,
What if that's the conclusion they come to?
listen to what I'm saying to you, because I've run into this. So I'm giving you the answers that I've given. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, you have your, because I raised you to have your own life. I raised you to have your own life. So I must have made a mistake when the things that I'm advising you on, you think that I want you to be like me. No, it's not even close.
Sometimes people make that mistake though, bro.
Exactly.
It's a decision making process, is what I'm saying.
And,
And the process is, as a parent, is to get them to understand thyself. You know what I'm saying? And what is it that you're working through and that you're struggling with? Because it's easy for a kid to combat what you're saying because they feel like you're trying to get them to be something other than themselves, bro.
so, okay.
It's easy to do that, and it's an easy excuse to give. Hey,
But,
well, I ain't you.
but see, that's fear.
Absolutely, it is.
That's fear.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's fear. The fear comes from uh, taking yourself like, okay, let me burn this bridge. Like, yo, I'm not you, or I'm not trying to be you. Like,
That's the
well,
first. That's the first go-to.
but hold on. If I want you to be like me, then I would want you to go into my same profession. I would want you to do this. I want you to do that. I'm giving you building blocks so you can move on. See, that's me.
Well, decision making based on your own personal confidence, man. It's the point that I'm making. To give you a smart example, real quick. Pop walked in the house one day when I first got out of college, and he said, "Man, what are you doing?" I said, I'm not happy, man. I'm just sitting here trying to figure out my life." He said, "Well, what you trying to figure out?" "Trying to be happy." He said, "Do you know what possibly might make you happy, son?" I said, "I got some good ideas." He said, "Then do it. Try it
Okay.
and see what happens. And if it don't work out, take another recourse. But at the end of the day, the decision is going to be yours to make. So that at the end of the day, you can't blame nobody else for your misery but your own, but yourself." You know what I'm saying? And that requires thinking about who you are. You can admire somebody from afar or close to you or whatever. You can admire somebody and say, "Hey, you know what? I can mimic them and do the same things or whatever and look for happiness." But what if that's not the case? What if you don't find happiness in somebody else's life? You have to figure out your own steps, your own processes. You have to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? And accept the wins and losses. And in that, you're gaining wisdom. You're learning thyself, right?
Okay.
And at the end of the day, the one thing that you can avoid is putting your foot forward. That's what you can avoid. You have to accept your choices and the decisions that you make. You have to accept it, learn from it, and be better if that's your motivation. I'm saying somebody telling you something, man, that never works.
Now, see, that's the whole point, though. Now, I agree with everything you just said, but I need you to elaborate on somebody telling you something, because people got to
Right.
tell you something to live.
Son, daughter, don't go that route because it's going to cause heartache and pain.
Okay.
Some people learn from other people's mistakes, and some people have to get their head bumped. But at the end of the day, it's yours and yours alone. You have to accept your process. You have to accept what you're going through and say, "Man, I got to be better."
I mean,
It doesn't require people's opinion about you. It requires you understanding something about yourself and accepting who you are.
But and what you just said is a great great way of looking at it. But somebody has to suggest that you look within yourself, and that's basically what I was alluding to. Is like, I understand where you want to give your family and your children, and this we're speaking in general terms more than anything. You want to
Right.
give your children a certain thing, right? And you want to give
Hmm.
them certain freedom, but you have to be able to, hey, I'm giving you this freedom, but this is the framework in which I think you should work from. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to them, like, look,
Yeah.
if you want to get out on your own, then have a plan. Talk to me, especially if you have a job. Then, if you need to come and live with us until you save your bag to get into the place that you need to be, that's what you do. Because you should not be in a hurry if you don't need to be in a hurry. But you should not linger if it's gonna get on people's fucking nerves. You know what I'm saying? It's what it is.
Well, the one thing, what the one of the most difficult things to teach a child is patience, bro.
I mean, look, you know why? Because I didn't have patience. And guess what?
Right.
But guess what I did was I learned from those mistakes of not having patience. You know what I mean? Welcome back, Keith. You know, you was going back and forth, brother, so we had to put you backstage to catch your breath. But did you want to chime in on what we've been saying? Have you been listening to us?
Yes, yes. I could hear you, see you and hear you the whole time.
Okay, so
Yeah. From my perspective, because I don't have biological children, so I approach it as, I'll say, coaching, like a coaching perspective.
okay,
Is that everything I would do, I would try to make, I'd be guided, especially with the boys, because I was letting them know what was going on, and I would tell them why I made the decision that I made. And some of the times it was hard. It was difficult because my pride didn't want to do it, didn't want me to do it. And I,
gotcha.
I was raised totally different. I was raised by
I think you froze.
black, you know what, cussing.
Okay,
That kind of
I think you still there, Keith?
heated argument, very heated argument with their mother. And I stormed out and went out and cooled off a little bit. And then when I came back in, I didn't leave. I came back in the house and I went straight to them and I explained to them. I said, I was wrong. I shouldn't talk to your mother that way. I was angry. We had a disagreement. I had a legit reason to be angry. I said, but the lesson I taught you, getting angry is a natural thing that humans do. Your problem is what you do once afterwards. I said, the way I spoke to her, I shouldn't have spoke to her that way. I apologized. I said, I'll never do that again. And I said, do you understand? I said, don't you do that. This is an example. And they said, yes, sir. I said, so that's just an example of teaching life lessons. And a lot of times it's difficult when you got someone else over there being the other parent or is the other parent. And you have to bring them in and say, hey, look, we need a united front. We don't need, they don't need to be able to say, if I want this, I go to Dad at Keys, or if I need this, I go to Mama. I said, that's not a good environment. If they come to me and say, can I do X, Y, and Z? Did you talk to your mama about it? What did she say?
That's
Well, she
always
said
the
no.
question. That's always the
Yeah. What
yeah.
did she say? No. So why are you talking to me? What are you asking me?
Why are you asking me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then even if I don't think it's cool, then I go pull her off and say, hey, I mean, and let her change the situation. I don't say anything.
Mhm.
Let her go in and say, okay, I changed my mind, however she want to word it, and vice versa. So to say the burden, yes, the burden is everybody has their share of burden, but the kids, they have to be guided, and it helps a lot if they know. They don't have to know what adults, everything you're doing, but they have to know, hey, you are part of this family, and you going to school, being responsible, doing what you're supposed to do, doing your chores, doing what you're told is your part in this. So instead of them feeling like they just along for the ride, waiting to be told what to do or something, they feel like they're a part of which they are. They're an important part of the family. And if they don't do their responsibility, then it affects the rest of the family and make them feel it.
Gotcha.
One last example was again with the boys. One Thursday was guys' night, so they having a good week on Thursdays. When I pick them up from school, I would take them to. I'd ask them where they want to eat, and they pick a place, and we go there. So the oldest one didn't do his homework. He just didn't do it. So Thursday come, and I asked the younger one where he want to eat. He said he wanted to eat McDonald's or somewhere. I went to McDonald's and bought him some food. And then I went back home. I didn't get the oldest one anything. Took him back home and got him something out of the refrigerator, warmed it up, gave it to him. And of course, he told his mother, and she had a problem with it. And I told her, I said, you've heard me tell them I don't reward bad behavior. Life has consequences. You do what you're supposed to do, you get the consequence. If you buck the system, you get the consequence. I said, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to keep doing this. So I understand. I hear what you're saying. But if this happens again, this is what I'm going to do. I said, because they're boys. I said, and if the youngest one, if I go ahead and let him have the McDonald's too, what is the younger one going to think? Well, shoot, why do I need to do my homework? He got it anyway. He got what I got. I said, so it's those lessons that falls, I think, under the burden of teaching them the responsibility, or teaching them what the burden is and how to be young men or young ladies, if I answer the question.
I got you. I think you also make a great point, because see, here's the thing: everybody's not going to agree on your approach. So I can say that your approach, I've done that 65 to the other 35.
Right.
I mean, because I had to learn, like with my boys, both my boys. It's like I have to, when I say I'm going to do this, if you don't do that, I gotta live up to my word, because what it does is it teaches them to live up to their word. Not, it also in secondary, it is taking, consequences and repercussions. It does teach that.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, you looking at me as your father, and I give you my word, so I can, when I'm chastising, I say, have I ever lied to you? When I say I'm going to do something, if you don't do this, or if you do this, I will give you this. What has happened? And I say I put that in at least the 97 percentile.
97%, bro.
Yeah, because
what if what you're giving is your perspective and yours only?
Because I'm raising them, it got to be my perspective, man.
Right.
I'm raising them.
It got to be your perspective.
They're not adults, so I'm raising them.
What about individuality, man?
So you telling me them following the rules dampens their individuality?
Okay, following the rules has to be fair to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's supposed to be fair to everybody, why is it definitive, man? No, because I said so.
If you don't take care of this business you're supposed to take care of, I'm going to do this. So that should not infringe on individuality, period.
It absolutely infringes on individuality.
No, it don't.
If you're definitive about it, it does.
Let me ask you a question. And Keith,
I'm listening.
after I'm done, then you answer your comment. Let me ask you a question. If I say, let's just use the term you just said, because I said so. Now, your child is doing something wrong, and you explain to them completely why, but they keep asking why, right?
Right.
Of course you're going to say, I said so. You know why? Because your child is not listening to you. Even though you're giving them a logical answer, just do it. You understand what I'm saying to you? That doesn't infringe on their individuality. It doesn't do anything but the simple fact that you're setting certain rules of your household. It's about respect.
It's about understanding that, listen, this is good for you or bad for you. That's really what the case is, isn't it?
Okay.
There's this possibility. If it's a situation, the possibility that it might serve a wrong purpose for you, then yes, you be stringent on that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm talking about.
You know what I'm saying? And you express it and you explain it. And then they go through the process of trying to understand it as you go through the motions of it. But simply saying, because I said so, doesn't coincide with anything, man.
First of all, that is taking shortcuts when you say, because I said so. But when me, as an individual, if I said, because I said so, because I went through each and every step for my child to understand.
Well, let me give you an example.
Before you go, Keith, you had something to add. Go ahead and add it, brother.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of what you all are talking about had to do with, say, the age of them and how the age of them, meaning if they 17, okay, now we're having a different conversation. If your whole existence, you go out here, you screwing up, and the authorities show up and they're going to talk to me about why you out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's called I said so. Because at that point, because you.
Well, how many times has the authorities been right about your child?
That's what I'm saying.
Right. You speaking to a parent
if
where
it's preventative. So if they really small or they're young, immature, or whatever, they need guidance and they need that reinforcement of, look, do this. These are the boundaries. These are the rules. I got rules. I'm following these rules, and this is your share of them. So you're gonna do it. But if you do it too young, which I've seen, and you have let them have a lot of, I ain't gonna say a lot of, you let them have leniency on making their own decisions, they're gonna choose what's popular for them. And then what's popular may not be cool for them further down the road. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so what's popular for them might be something that their peers are
There you go.
champion is or whatever. But what if that has absolutely nothing to do with their own personal point of view?
With their own personal point of view?
Right. Because let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said with my youngest child, man, he is struggling in his class and he can't read and he can't do this shit, right? He can't articulate himself. He can't read. He can't comprehend what he's reading and all of that stuff, right? And
Okay.
at the same time, I'm reading the comic book digest to this kid, right? And he knows the characters. He knows their situation. He understands why they're doing what they're doing and all these different things. But then a kindergarten teacher who's teaching him how to read, as far as she's concerned, saying, well, he's quiet. He don't express himself. He's quiet and whatever. When I say, well, do you think maybe because he's bored with what you're talking about? No, he has no comprehension. So we want to keep him back a grade. And I say, well, when I sit down with him and I'm reading this comic book digest, and he's talking about all the characters and all the things that they champion and all this stuff, he understands and able to articulate himself.
Right.
Where's the problem? The problem is that you got 25 other kids that you try to, keep together, and you got one individual kid that's bored and don't understand where you're coming from because it's below his reading level. Is he the problem?
Okay.
Is he the problem? My point is this: know thy child. Know and understand thy child. You might be teaching your child above the grade level that they're at, and the teacher who cannot deal with the person because they got all these other problems dealing with other kids. They don't understand your child, and they think that he's limited. You the one that don't get it and don't understand. So it's incumbent upon me to express to you that you're wrong about my child.
Okay.
It's like quarterback and receiver.
As he expresses himself and articulates himself.
Okay, so you're talking about a separate thing here, brother. Because
Am I?
Yes, you are. You know why? Because you're talking about somebody else's opinion about your child. We're talking about raising our children. You understand what I'm saying to you?
I'm talking about the collective, bro.
No.
What if you have a brilliant child that you are
okay? You recognize that
deserving because you're following somebody else's stuff instead of looking and understanding your own child.
And that's a great point. But we're not talking about disserving our children. We're talking about how we raise our children. Which burden was it? You understand what I'm saying to you?
But isn't it incumbent upon us to raise our kids based on?
Let me finish, man. Let me finish, because just like I said, we're talking about two separate things. We're talking about the educational system in which you are right. Don't listen.
We are talking about the same things.
Don't listen to them. No, we're not. Because we were just talking about raising children within your household, period. That's what we're talking about.
Right. I agree with that.
And I agree with you when it comes to that. I just didn't want to branch off into that. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. I'm following you now.
Because you know your child, you understand what you and your child are doing, and you understand their capability. So when people try to take shortcuts, because that's what the fuck they do.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking in general terms, no conspiratorial term. That's what they do. They take shortcuts so they can put somebody in a room or a box, so they can so it could be easier for them. That's
right.
That's all. But like I said, you're making
but under the auspice of raising the child based on what you think how things should be, can you be wrong in that aspect, bro?
You can be wrong, but you have the opportunity. Hold on. You have the opportunity to be with your child, to know.
Right, right, exactly. That's exactly the point I'm making. That's exactly the point I'm making. You can have a set of rules in your house, but what if your child supersedes those rules and they are on this level? You have to meet them on that level.
So hold on, man. You're not raising some kid from Krypton, man. You're giving your child basic living skills. So how wrong could you be?
When they understand that, going through the motions of living in the household, they understand that. But what if they inspired to be something greater than that? Then what?
What? As far as what, man? Because me as a parent, what I do is give my kids foundation so they can go after the things that they want.
Right. But what if they understand the foundations, but they're inspired to be greater than that, greater than the foundation? Do you make concessions for it?
If they show me that because I'm simple, I'm not.
That's exactly the point I'm making.
Yeah, if they show me that they are mature enough to do these things, because what I do is I remind them. Hell, I am very meticulous. I get on my son's nerves because I have a checklist on everything that they do. You understand what I'm saying to you? Until they leave my household. You want to know why? Because those are seeds implanted. Those things is implanted into them when they start to go forth and do what they're doing.
But what if the things that you're trying to implant, what if his mindset, attitude, and understanding of the world supersedes what you're trying to implant? What do you do then?
There's always a beginning, right? Isn't that always a beginning? What I'm teaching and what we teach our children is the beginning of life. So if it supersedes it, it supersedes it. Go ahead, Keith.
I was gonna say, plus, Damon, that question you just asked, that's actually good training for real life experience. Because once we get out and we're in our careers or just in life in general, well, you know that firsthand. How many times you had to move a little different because you tried to keep bread on the table. So you training them that be free thinkers. They can do that, but at the same time, you need to be a free thinker and work within the system, which is
right.
the house rules and what I'm giving you. Because what you giving your daughters, they haven't experienced it. You can't even explain it to them. They're too young to understand. They ain't been in that stage of life. So what you giving to them, they don't understand. So that's the thing you don't want. You want to get that foundation early, so they will listen to you and not go off of what their buddies say. I told my niece this when she turned 16. I said, something interesting is going to happen to you. She said, what? I said, somewhere in the next year or two, your mother is not going to have good sense. Your friends are going to have all the answers. All you got to do, crew. And she started laughing. I said, this is it. You're going to hear. All you had to do is this. I said, they're lying. I said, your mother don't know everything, but whatever your mother tells you is going to be something to keep you safe. It won't lead you towards harm.
But what if is a situation where you in a situation where you expressing to your child and you say, well, how does it feel? Does it feel wrong to you? And that child says, it feels wrong. I don't understand it. And it feels wrong to me. Isn't it incumbent upon us to say, then that feeling that you're feeling is your true self, and you need to elaborate on that and understand what that means. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? Because
makes sense.
So we can stifle a child. We can stifle a child. Three black men. We can stifle a child by saying, you know what? The world is going to tell you that you don't meet up to standards because of the color of your skin. You see what I'm saying? And then you can tell that kid that statement and gear their mind towards the world is going to treat me by the color of my skin, and that's what it is. You know, I'm always fight that fight because I'm black. As opposed to, man, I don't get any of this stuff. This is how I feel, and this is the direction that I need to go based on how I feel. Be it right or wrong, I'm either learn from it or I'm gonna be right. And it's individuality, and you learn from it on that basis. Because the only thing you have to be in terms of being a black person is being an example. That's it.
there's a question I want to ask you based off what you just said when you said that where it could be right or wrong and how they're feeling. You ask them, how does it feel? What if it feels good? And you two can answer this better than me because you were actual parents. But it feels good to them and it feels all right to them, but you know it's wrong, and you know it's going to lead them into a situation that they don't want to be in. And you also know you the only one, you going to have to be involved in that situation to get them out of it.
That's life.
Well, see,
I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, that's life. I could tell my kids, hey man, that's the wrong road to go down, and they fight against it. The only thing that I'm left with is you're gonna find out.
okay, so basically,
I'm gonna be there to pick up the pieces, but you're gonna find out.
but
Them making a mistake is not the beginning or end of their lives. People make mistakes, man. You don't throw a life away because people make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that is what's needed to get your head bumped. We all had our head bumped, man.
But see, that's the thing about it is it has nothing to do, like you make a valiant point, but it should not stop you from saying something before it happens.
Of course you say something.
Okay, then when after it happens, you still reiterate. I'm not saying you didn't say this. I'm saying to you is it all is intertwined. It ain't just one thing or another. It is all intertwined. They work together in the same way. So let me do this because Lori put something up here that I found interesting, and I want your take on it. She said we spoil black boys and give them too much grace. That's why they struggle to become men. Anybody have a take on that?
Well, they say that mothers raise their daughters, spoil the sons, love the sons and raise the daughters, and vice versa. Men raise their sons and love the daughters. So, I mean, I'm thinking maybe that's what she was hitting on.
Yeah, I think I need a little bit more. But Damon, go ahead. What do you think about that?
I think, man, that women understand what, more specifically, black women understand that their sons are going to go through some shit. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to give them, they want them to be, hey, stand on this and stand on that and whatever, right? You can, as a man, I could say, son, be who you are. And that's what's going to serve you the most purpose in life, being who you are and standing strong on that. Not that, you know, the bad aspects of it, but who you are as a human being, as a person, trying to be your best self, as opposed to, hey man, you get what you can get and do what you got to do to make things happen for you. You know what I'm saying? People who don't understand what it means to be a black man is going to come to that conclusion.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But if you if you teaching as a black man, you teaching your son right, you're going to teach your son that, hey man, you might stand on something because that's in your nature to stand on something, but you could be wrong in that. And that can cause a lot of stress, a lot of conflict in a lot of lives. You know what I'm saying? But if you're true to yourself and you're righteous in who you are, that means something. And guess what? The world that we live in doesn't teach black men that. You know what I'm saying? We as black men have to teach black men that. To be wrong, understand that you're wrong, and be righteous in rectifying that situation. Yes, are there going to be people hurt in it? But if you're apologetic and genuine with it, then that means something. Everybody might not accept your apology, but if you're staunch and righteous in who you are, then there might be somebody 6 people removed that might learn from that shit and be a better human being.
Gotcha.
Can I
But
share
all you
some
have
of my?
to do.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
No, I just want to share a story with y'all that I think pertains to this, and especially an example of that last comment that you read. Uh, I know this lady, this sister. She had a son and a daughter, and her son he wasn't performing in school. He failed the 7th grade. She worked. She put so he could be in his correct grade because he was embarrassed. She put him in private school. She picked up like 2 other jobs. So she's working all around the clock to pay for that private school to try to get him to get his GPA and step up over so it could transfer back over to the public school and he could be in his correct grade.
Yeah.
And
I'm
she
following
did it.
you.
She did it. So my question is that her loving her son? And then the way I grew up, my daddy literally looked at me and told me, he said, he looked at my report card because it wasn't good. He said, let me tell you this, I don't buy new school clothes for the same damn grade.
Gotcha.
If you in the same grade you in last year, you're going to look just like you looked last year.
Right.
Yeah.
So you make a decision what you want to do. So my whole
And a
point
lot
is,
of people.
did she do, was that loving her son?
Bro, see, that's my thing, Keith. I'm not going to debate whether or not she's loving her son or not, because what she did was give him a chance. She gave him a chance, even though she sacrificed her time and her energy. She gave him the chance to like learn from this shit. You understand? But say if he had his father in his life, he would be able to articulate this, because if he listened to his dad, like, yo, listen, your mama is doing this for you. What the fuck is you going to do? I said, if it was in control, your ass would be sitting right there, because if you had the ability to pass through the 7th grade,
If you can catch up,
that's it.
you could have stayed up.
Because
But don't you have to?
they give you the opportunity to catch up. Go ahead, Damon.
But don't you get you press the fact that you are giving them the opportunity to see the mistakes in that, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just saying, hey man, if you could do this, then there ain't no excuse for you not to do that.
Those are the
That doesn't teach anybody anything. All that says that, hey man, I'd have to follow somebody's lead.
Hold on, man. Hold on. You got to explain that, because you just said. Now I might have misunderstood you. So say that again for me, please.
My point is this, man. I can teach my child my experience.
No,
and it has absolutely nothing to do with his own experience.
I get that.
Nothing to do with it.
I get that. But
but that's the pivotal point, though. That's what it is. Man, I used to get in arguments with my son. He would tell me some things that happened to him in the school year, that happened to him and whatever. And most of it is I'm listening to him and recognizing that he's going through something. But when I recognize that I went through something similar, and then I go with, well, hey man, I went through the same thing, and this is what I did. And if you follow and listen to what I say, then things will work out for you. You know what my son said to me? I'm not sure, man. I don't even understand where you're coming from.
Okay, so
how did you come to that conclusion? I'm struggling with that.
That happens, but then the opposite of what you just went through happens. When you, if a son says, "Hey, I'm going through this," okay, son, I this is how I went through the same thing, and this is how I dealt with it. And then your son, what he has is he has something to grab on to. Because see, you could go either way. Your child could go either way. They could not relate to you, right? They cannot relate to your struggle, right?
Right.
And they can relate to your struggle. But look, let me say this real quick because I want to comment on what Nikki's comment, right? This is my own personal opinion. I don't see it says we spoil black boys. When do we spoil black boys? And this is not directly towards you, Nikki. This is what I hear all the time. When do we spoil black boys? Some of these young men, of course, are spoiled, but the vast majority of them are not. And when do we give black men, period, boys and men, period, grace? We don't. It is the individual mother or father who give their sons and daughters, give them second chances, is what it is. I'm not disagreeing with you, Nikki, but see, this is my angle this is my angle and my view of what you just said. This is why it was curious to me. It's like, wait, hold on. I raised my sons a certain way. I don't know everything that my sons do from a day to day, what they go through. But when they come to me and they speak to me and they talk to me, I give them everything that I have. And I think, to me, the vast majority of men that's in their sons and daughters' lives do the same thing. People can say it's debatable, but no. You know, I think our problem is we base our community off of social media. Is what we do, which is a problem to me. It's a problem to me because it's like, look, first of all, when you tell me, when I'm looking at something at the news and I'm looking at different things and high crime and poverty and ghetto and crime and blah, 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 right? Then I'm working around 25 different, not my own personal view. I'm working around 25 other black men and women or 30 other black men and women who basically are making a living and doing their things, right? I'm like, well, wait a minute. Could it be that this thing is exaggerated? My own personal opinion. Could this be exaggerated? Could this be the simple fact that we are trying our best to navigate things and we keeping our heads down? But when they promote everything, when they promote us and we promote all these different things, we always see the shadier side of our community. We don't see the great examples of living. You can disagree with me all you want to, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I'm telling you, realistically, this is not an optimistic view of life. No. It's me looking through a lens of what life is. Yes, we have impoverished people in our community. Yes, we have a small percentage of the lawbreakers in our community, right? But what about the other parts of it in which we don't see? We don't see it. If you guys really, everybody looking at this, and we're gonna see this in the future, and here live with us right now, if you realistically like, yo, wait a minute. You know, I can understand when you're living in those couple streets in the hood that just drug and you know, this stuff going on. I get that because your view is clouded as fuck. Because that's all you see every day. And you can't get out of it. But when you get a chance, you'll get out of it. Why do you want to get out of it? Because you think you're going to go to another part, or you know there's a better part. You feel what I'm saying? It's just that's my thing is that I'm on the soapbox right now for the simple fact that I'm getting tired of really and truly allowing myself to be fed by nothing but negative energy. It doesn't make sense.
You know what, man? I'm gonna say like this, man. I ain't catch the last part of it, man. I'm just, trying to force myself back into the conversation. This is what I know at 59 years old, bro. I understood that there was some conflicts and things happening in my life, man, in the past, man, that I wish I could change, and I wish that whatever. But the conclusion that I come to is that, yes, there's a lot of bad things happening, but there's a lot of good things happening too. And there's a lot of opportunities for happiness. There is that. If you can come to the conclusion that I'm not a part of that bad aspect, that bad element. Yes, it might come to me in life, but when it does come to me, I have to still survive it, bro.
Yeah.
I have to still survive it. So my life not predicated on all the negative things, the negative aspects. It's not predicated on that. Because my job, my duty is to survive the situation in a way where people are inspired to follow my lead. And that's it.
Gotcha.
For me. And I recognize that aspect of it. So when I sit back thinking, if I have a bad day, I'm not going to continue the bad day the next day. I'm not going to do that because I've been through the gauntlet. I understand and I get it. It's about me being myself. And that's it. Not in a negative aspect, not in a way where I'm bitter and angry and I'm going to give the world what the world is giving me. No, I'm above that. I'm above that because I've lived this long. I've lived this long, bro. I came to the conclusion, living this long, that life is above the negative aspects. And unless somebody come and take my life, I'm going to live that aspect of it, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I have to, that's my grace. That's my grace. I know the negative aspect of life. I get it. But I got people that I'm responsible for. Am I giving them that and saying, hey, you know what? Life is misery, man. And there's no good aspects of life. And you got to give what life is giving you. Or you say, hey, man, that small little sliver of life, I know that I can have a good life. I know that that I was blessed with grandkids, and I was blessed with kids, and I was blessed with good friends. And the truth is, that is more prevalent than the negative aspects of it. I just choose. Think about I'm being philosophical in this way. Think about Jesus. He was born under occupation, but he saw the good things in life and grace. He saw that. That's what makes people follow this man in antiquity. Under occupation, put on the cross and all that stuff, but he saw, hey, you know what? Even though all this negative stuff is happening in real time, when we were sitting here toiling under the sun, we enjoyed each other's company. And we got by, and everybody ate, and everybody took care of each other. And they didn't fall for the nonsense. They didn't fall for the bullshit. Hey, man, you know what? If we choose to see life in this way and live it, then we're going to have good things. And I am a testimony to that.
All right. Go ahead and finish up then, Keith. I want you to give your last opinion of this.
I'm done. I'm just saying, I can wake up every day looking at blogs and all this stuff and being negative. Whereas when I look at my kids, hell, everybody educated, everybody got jobs and shit, and buying the things they want. That is actually my life.
Gotcha.
And they grew up in their own rooms, in their own house. That's actually my life. That's what it is.
That's a blessing. Yes, sir.
Truly, it is.
Blessing to you, you and sister-in-law's hard work. I love that.
Yeah, and I can look at
Absolutely.
your life, and I can look at Corey's life, and I can look at and I can see the similar things, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Kid-
understood the assignment and made it happen.
What about you, brother?
Yeah, I was going to say, now that I think about it, that comment that you read, to me, it seemed kind of like a blanket statement, and it creates debate. Reason because you're saying
Yeah.
young men are spoiled. I'm paraphrasing
In the
what I
United
got it, but
States, that's crazy. But go ahead.
yeah, it's a blanket statement, and one, you're not saying who's doing the spoiling, and you're not even narrowing it down to who's spoiled because I don't fit in that category, and I was one of those,
I mean, it's what
and
it
I
is.
won't spoil by a long shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But did I have things? Yeah, we were poor. I didn't know it. I was okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to say, and that bothers me. What bothers me when, like, if you have a statement, and it happens a lot, people will say something and then they can't support it, and they don't give you enough information to know specifically what they're talking about. Because this is usually that person's experience and what they've seen or heard.
Yeah.
And everybody now, it seems like nothing. So if y'all notice that right or wrong is kind of vague now. This is what you need to do. This is what now
vague,
it's kind of like it's options.
vague is easy.
Yeah, don't. I mean, you can play with the matches, just don't burn the house down. No, don't strike matches in the damn house. Quit playing with the matches.
Yeah. Vague is
That's what it used to be.
vague is easy, man, because you allow people to come to their own conclusion. But look, let me get to this, man, because I've been wanting to get to this all night.
Let me say this one point, Keith. Then I'll let you finish. Is it an anomaly, man, that all three of us sitting here, man, have a good life, bro? I know.
I don't think it
plenty
is.
of brothers. I know plenty of brothers that their kids are the most important things in their life. But the world tells us that black men don't take care of their kids, which is a damn lie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is a damn lie. That's crazy, man. That we sit up here and listen to women say that black men are spoiled and this and that. How is a black man going to be spoiled when the world comes to the black man on such a negative level that they can't even conceive the thought of being spoiled?
And the one that spoiled, who raised them?
I get it. Money.
As an SRO, money. I can tell you.
But look, money raised it. That's what
exactly.
Money raised it. But look, great, man, great shit so far, man. But I'm just curious about this because I ran across this on the real life Street Stars podcast, right? Dr. Umar Johnson was on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't agree with everything this man says, but what I agree with is his introspective thinking, right? Whatever agenda he's on and whatever, all I know is he bears a lot of fruit in a lot of things that he says. Now, when he goes to critique people, I have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? I have a problem with that. But when it talks about just the overall uh, steadiness and growth of our community, I think he has a very good insight on it, right? But Dr. Umar said, Dr. Umar was quoted to say that capitalism invented racism because he was asked the question to choose between if you can work on capitalism. I'm paraphrasing. If you can work on capitalism or would you work on racism? So Umar said you can't work on either one because capitalism, in my thoughts, invented racism. Right? Then he went on to say, he said, white people are serious about power, and black people are serious about money. White people are about control, and black people want to own things. White people want to own situations. I'm gonna read that again because I wanted to sink in to so you could, whether or not you oppose or you agree or whatever. I want you to hear it what I'm saying to you. He said that capitalism invented racism, right? And he said white people are serious about power. Black people are serious about money. White people are about control. This is in general. This is not every white person, right? And this ain't every black person. White people are about control. Black people want to own things. White people want to own situations. Who wants to tackle that first?
Uh,
And
what he's saying is true, huh?
this is really truly your opinion about this. You just want to go from there.
Right. Yeah, what I gained from it is it's true because we all each of those groups are striving for what they don't have, truly have, or they've been deprived of. Uh, White people, they want power, and that's their drive because they know they don't truly have it. The power is with the ones that are the survivors. They're not the survivors. So that's why it's systematic, it's systemic division. If you have to go and divide people, divide cultures, divide people, and cause chaos and diversion and everything to obtain that power, you don't truly have the power. You have every war you fought in, the ones you oppressing were the reason you conquered in the war. They helped you in every aspect. You need them. So you know you don't have the power.
Gotcha.
On the other hand, yeah, we do we do want money. We want uh our own thing. We want all the other things that you reap from being powerful. We are truly powerful. We are powerful divided. We powerful.
Mhm.
And the ones that are in power, their entire goal is to keep us from coming together.
Gotcha.
That's the thing. Just that's why that comment was made. Every time we got a leader, uh, uh, a Dr. King or a Marcus Garvey or Malcolm X, anyone, someone that was speaking that we were listening to as a group, and they were speaking to power and speaking to empower us. You see what happened to them.
Gotcha.
So what he says is true. I believe that's true, and that's the reason I believe it is true.
Okay. Damon, what do you think?
Read the question again, bro.
Umar Johnson said that capitalism invented racism. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. I agree.
White people, he feels as though white people are serious about power. Black people are only serious about money.
No, let me correct myself.
Whoa. Let me finish. White people are about control. Black people are about what they want to own. White people want to own situations. Go ahead.
Black people want to own stuff out of experience, man, because they know and understand that owning is power. White people want to have power because they think they are better. They think that they have. They think that they are more advanced. They are more smarter. They're more whatever, and they believe that power gives them that. But the one thing that they don't understand is that survival and uh, surviving under tyranny and all that stuff is power. You know what I'm saying? Their fear is so great that they don't want to compete whatsoever. So they come up with, excuses to have power and say, this is why we are greater than. And you're not. Because you don't have the fear you don't have the courage to compete on any level. When you look at our history, it's all about competition. It's all about competing. It's all about overcoming. They don't know how to overcome because they don't feel that they have to compete with anybody. It's all about, hey man, we are more advanced and we are more smarter and we're more this and that than anybody else or whatever. So it's not about competition. It's about feeling like we are more advanced. And that's why you're not the most educated. I'm saying that's why you're not the most advanced. That's why you're not that. You don't even have the capacity to compete because you think you're already there. You know what I'm saying? And you convince yourself through silly shit because of the color of your skin.
Damon.
And you're not even competing.
Damon, Fluke.
What?
Silly shit. Define silly shit.
Silly shit is to say, DUI, whatever is a thing that's a bad situation or whatever. If you are a country that wanted to, compete across the world, you want everybody involved in that, no matter what color you are. You want everybody to be involved in that. And because you think you're superior, you want to take away diversity. Diversity is what make America strong. But you want to take it away because of the color of your skin. Hey, you know what? White men should control everything. You know what I'm saying? They talk about we're going to take away DEI. When you look at this man's cabinet, and all of these cats are dumb as fuck. They are, and to the point where it's embarrassing. Hey, we're gonna take away DEI. We're gonna take all this stuff out of the equation, all this stuff, and we're gonna let white men lead, which is this cabinet. And these cats don't know what the hell they're talking about or what the hell they doing. They have no idea. And what's crazy, if they were smart, if they think they are, they would look at the Black and African American community and see what dominates the world. Our music, our lingo, our dress, our entrepreneurship, all that. We run the world. If you look at what's out there right now, you would look at Chinese people dancing like black people and making money. Making money. They want to eliminate that, whereas we as black people saying, okay, we have to create new shit to make money, to make sure that we stand on top of the food chain. And these clowns don't even get that. If they were smart, if they thought they would exploit the black community and say, hey, you know what? We're going to put our black people out here to prosper as a country. Because that's what the world wants and hunger for. But no, they don't do that. They put clowns, you know what I'm saying, in control, and white people saying, hey man, y'all want to do what they call that when people can't go into the restaurants and all that stuff if they ain't the right color?
Segregation.
Okay, segregation. You don't do the segregation shit? Okay, go ahead and do that. But then you got white people sitting back talking about, okay, we can segregate, but I'm gonna enjoy food. I'm gonna enjoy company. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna make money and all that stuff. And y'all can be segregated. Well, I'm gonna be over here with the black people who, on the global scale, making all the fucking money.
Okay. All right. Tie it up for me, man. Then we're gonna move on. I got to get my.
All I'm saying is, as a cat, as who I am, as 59 years old, I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, why in the hell are we following the clown ass dude with his minions and losing money, as opposed to saying, hey man, let's export and import what's happening, which who we are.
Gotcha. I got you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you take away black money, do the United States exist? No, it doesn't. On any level.
Yeah, that's how we got out of slavery. They figured it out.
Yeah.
That's just fact.
The money need to be circulated. We need more hands. We need more people. Let's make them another type of way.
And anytime the white establishment take over black superiority or whatever, we create new shit.
Because it's a matter of survival, man. That's basically
it's a matter of survival, but
that's it.
If you were about that life, if it's about that, wouldn't you know what I'm saying, support and uplift what's making you money?
But not if you think it can. If you think they will start thinking and doing for themselves and make, so they realize we don't need them. They realize we don't need them, but keeping us divided, we don't realize they know it.
They've always realized we don't need them.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about it is black women, man, that's holding shit down, and they can't find it within themselves to respect the black woman.
I mean, but see, that's the thing. It's respect for the black community, period. You know what I'm saying? So let me
that part.
The reason why I really and truly, because I didn't send this to you guys, but I ran across this with Dr. Umar, right? And what stuck out with me is this. This is why I really wanted to get you guys' opinion about it. What he was talking about, in my opinion, what I saw was us understanding how things are as far as our conditioning, how we see things, right? They said the white, and then, like I said, this generalized, it has nothing to do with white. Every individual white person out there has nothing to do with that, right? But if you see that the people in control, they want to control the situations. Yeah, they want the money, but if you control the situation, the money is going to follow. You're going to get a piece of everything. You feel what I'm saying? You're going to get a piece of everything because what is going on is it is the American way of life. Period. See, that's the thing about it is what he actually described was ingenious. He actually described the way we have been living, where not everyone wants the material shit, right? But to the degree, as far as materialism is, we want the house, we want the cars, we want to make sure that we're comfortable. It's in that category. You feel what I'm saying? It's in that category. You know, it's not the extreme where, you know, they're looking for champagne dreams and you know what I'm saying? It's none of that. It has to do with what we're doing is we're grinding toward the money more than grinding toward the control of the situations. And that's what sparked my curiosity to it.
I think, man, that we as black people understand that money is just a certain aspect of it, man.
I don't think so. Bro. I really don't. And I'm talking about in a general sense. I'm not talking about specifically the truth. I'm talking
I can
about
only speak for myself.
I'm talking about what's being thrown in our faces. And we usually follow what we feel is right. Social media,
But
all that.
but social media included, bro. Don't you think, man, that black people right now in this stage of our lives in this country sitting back talking about, okay, go ahead, do what y'all do, and it's not going to affect us.
You don't think it's going to affect us, man?
Dude, we already at the bottom, bro.
I know that, but you still don't think it's going to affect us, though.
What's going to affect us, man, is the understanding that at the end of the day, they're going to come to the same conclusions that we're at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come to the same conclusions no matter what happens. No matter how bad it gets, they're going to come to the same conclusions. Man, you know what I'm saying? And we as black people, as African Americans, and I hate to use that phrase because we black,
It don't matter.
we're going to come to the conclusion. We're going to come to the conclusion that, okay, then y'all going to try to disrupt our lives, and y'all can't do it because we already at the bottom and we understand how to survive this shit.
See, our lives are already disrupted, Lord.
We already know.
All right, well,
no matter what you say or what you try to establish to bring us down, all you're doing is meeting us halfway.
All right, finish up, Fluke. We're gonna have Keith come in. Then
I'm done.
All right, Keith, you go ahead, and if you have a comment, go ahead. And then we're gonna address what Sister Nikki have on the screen. This is about DEI. But go ahead, Keith. You have anything?
Well, no, y'all pretty much hit on everything I said was pretty much before that on that topic.
Okay.
Just on there, I'll just reiterate that. Yeah, that the game, the scheme, the game, the whole time has been to keep us divided and separated.
Yeah.
And it's to the point to where we even think they'll separate us from people we are one with. They got it broke down as us, and then it's the Haitians, then it's the Dominicans, then it's the Mexicans, then it's the Puerto Ricans, and no one don't want to admit we the same damn folks.
But see, but
everything happened to us happened to them.
Keith, is it us, or is it these people coming from other countries? They have an actual country. The United States is our country. So when they divide themselves by country. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. But the thing is, we don't even admit that this was our country. All of us didn't come over here on ships.
Look,
we were already here.
I've been in this motherfucker for 60 years. It's my fucking country. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about. But I'm sure you can go back and you can find some ancestors that of yours that was here prior to 1492.
I get it.
Man, I went to my
So,
dad one day. And I said, man, we talking about the all the Muslims talking about the X last names and all that shit. I went to my dad and I said, Dad, why won't you change our names to X? You know what he said? Man, we fucking earned that name. Get the fuck out of here.
I get it.
You
see,
see what I'm saying? I can name 5 people that earn that name, son. Live with it. And this is what I give you.
You know, just live. All right. Well, look. Let me do this real quick. Lori says DEI. She said earlier that DEI isn't about black people. Then after that, she followed up with white women. Then this is the pecking order. Then Hispanics, followed by Asians and Native Americans, and finally African Americans. LGBT people with disabilities and veterans come before black women. See, that's the thing. Understanding that people get caught up on the DEI, but am I wrong when I say that we speaking about a small freaking percentage of the population?
Yeah,
mhm.
you right in that because you are speaking about the small population, man. Because if you think about my own personal experience, bro, is that black women in my life is behind the scenes. They bolster and hold up the people that can move to the next level and never get their recognition.
I mean, but see, is it about recognition or is it about this actual survival, man?
It's about the recognition because you don't move into those spaces unless there's somebody there to help you move into that situation, bro.
But isn't it black and white, black and male and black women and men?
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing.
I'm saying to you,
No,
am
no,
I wrong
I'm,
when I see it that wrong way? If I see it that way, I see it as black
He-
men
he-
and women pushing it forward.
here's the thing, man. We are so caught up in that situation. We argue against each other. We don't see what the reality is.
That's my point. That's my point. Why
Yeah.
the fuck?
The reality is black women are in those positions where they can bolster black men and women.
We all are. We all
Bro,
are. It's the
let me ask you a question, man.
no. Let's listen. You said that it's a division, which is I agree is totally correct. But I feel as though that we're all men and women. We're all in the same position, but we are divided because we are told we're divided.
Yeah,
That's just
it's
how
programmed in us. Yeah, over centuries.
that's all I'm saying.
Right. It is programmed. It is programmed, bro. Go ahead, elaborate on that shit, Keith.
Yeah,
It is programmed.
that's the whole design. If you're familiar with the Willie Lynch thing, the advice he told them how to separate us. See, he know we're the alpha. He don't want us to lead because if we lead, now we have them too. They coming with us. The black women are coming with us. But if they leading, there's separation between us. That's another way of defining. So what they'll do, they'll put them in the lead, and then they start saying, "I'm strong. I'm independent. I'm
Everybody,
this. I'm that."
everybody gets dropped
And
off of power.
he need to tighten his. He need to tighten up.
Yeah.
I make 6 figures. He make 40,000 a year. That kind of stuff. And then that's the separation. And we just by nature, the way we were designed, we don't care if she make 500,000 a year. We got our own stuff, and we still alpha. We still running it.
We making it because
Yeah.
being the head of the house. But see, here's my little small take on it. Right. understanding that it's not a great conspiracy, but it is people who fear the combination. Like I always had issue when they said the black woman is the backbone of the black family. I've never believed that. The reason why I never believed that is because the black man is the backbone and the black woman encases the backbone for protection.
Right.
That's what I've always seen. You understand? But see, when you isolate, whether or not they want to do it on purpose, they want to be malicious, you isolate, oh, the black woman is holding this down, right? But yes, but then there are black men who are equally doing the same thing, but they are blinded towards each other because they drinking the same fucking Kool-Aid.
Yes. You just got a glass, I got a paper cup.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. That's easily deciphered, man. You can look.
It's not, bro. You know why it's not?
In my own personal opinion.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you because we wouldn't be having this conversation if it was easy to decipher. But go ahead. Give me your point, though, man.
The reason why I say it's easy to decipher because we understand that that's the goal that they put against us. We understand that. But some of us believe because they got through the bullshit that black man is not on equal level. You know what I'm saying? I know personally myself where I was pushed down or spoken against my not my own volition, but because how I look or how a motherfucker perceived me. I was pushed down and I didn't get the opportunity. That's my experience. Now I can become bitter about that shit, or I can say, okay, I can look at another different angle at the shit and try to, you know what I'm saying, overcome the issue.
Yeah.
I can't, as a black man, I can't go against my black woman if she succeed above and beyond me. I can't do that shit because that's how the system works.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
That's how the system works. So with that understanding, how do I come together and go against the system?
It's a good point.
And that's where we lose in each other.
I think, is it ego, Damon?
Absolutely, it's ego.
Is
because
can't connect.
It's absolutely ego because the system can present the ego aspect of it. Me, as a person who understands what's working against me, can recognize that shit and not be afraid that my woman is in this position who can help me. See, that's where they fuck us up at. Excuse my language. That's where they mess us up at, is that if our woman is in a position to help me, then that make me less than who I am as a black man. And it doesn't.
And it's bullshit. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So she's putting herself in the position where she can lose because she is in my corner.
Partners, man. It's about partners.
You know what I'm saying? What we have to understand is that we don't lose if one of us wins, be it man or female. We just have to reach back and help each other and not fall for the bullshit.
That's real.
That's what we have to understand. And then we sit back, especially in this time that we live in, and we look at what's going on and what's happening. And I'm like, man, that's the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my damn life. When a white person feeling emboldened to express themselves, and it's like, the hell are you talking about? Don't even make sense.
You know,
and they go through the process of convincing those of us that don't know any better that they're right in their argumentation and shit. And it's like,
Damon,
do you really hear, huh?
Is it the reasoning that no one a part of us seem to agree? So what they see, and I'm talking about these social media people. I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about these social media people.
But here's the
That,
thing, bro.
let me finish my question.
Go ahead.
Building these platforms, right, where they look in at us. They don't experience whatever we see. They look at what they get, right? And they come to their conclusion.
Right.
Real quick, so I want to get to Keith, man, and then we're going to close this thing up.
Go ahead, bro.
Keith,
Mhm.
being a single man, right?
Okay.
Looking for love. I'm going to let y'all ladies know he's looking for love. Y'all hit me up if y'all want to meet him. But being a
This
single
brother always trying to hook you up.
being a single man, he be bullshitting too, Fluke. But it is what it is.
He know what he doing, man. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, bro.
Yeah, being a single man out here in this world, right? What hope do you have for your own happiness?
He should be inspired by that question, bro.
No, hold on. See, I asked him this for a reason, so I want him to answer.
Okay. All right, I'm following.
What hope do I have for my own happiness?
For your own happiness.
I have a lot of hope for my own happiness
You can
from,
be happy. I mean, you can be honest. Go ahead.
but yeah, but it's gonna be from me. Uh, it's gonna be from me because my experience has been when I try to include someone else or a woman involved, uh, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work out, and it's usually something, in my opinion, that's petty,
Gotcha.
or to me, it's petty. You're too nice, or and nice is when you're being respectful. You're doing what you're supposed to do as a man. Uh, there's a set of worldly. When I say world, I mean the earth. It's a standard, or at least in our culture, it's a standard. And the standard is well, you have to. It's a certain way. You have to be stern, and then at the same time, you don't want to be too stern. You want to be, it's a whole. It's like baking a cake from scratch, and it varies from individual to individual. And what I think, to shorten the answer up, I have a problem because I'm hot or cold, one or the other. The in the middle stuff and being sensitive, I gotta speak a certain way. And I caught myself. I said, I sound unintelligent, slow or something, because I'm trying to word everything I say not to be offensive or to come off the wrong way instead of just speaking. Um, so I'm kind of overall right at this moment, I'm pessimistic as far as my happiness with someone
Gotcha.
because we just don't clash. I mean, we don't jive. And it's a funny story to me. I think I've told you about it, about where I went on somebody talked me into going on to the eHarmony thing,
Okay.
the dating thing.
Okay.
And I filled out the survey, and and it came back and said they couldn't find a match for me. We searched our entire system. We couldn't find one match for you. You have good characteristics, bad characteristics. And the women that are drawn to your good characteristics that are matched, they would be totally turned off by the bad, and vice versa. And the list of women that they said were close that I could consider, every one of them were Asian.
eHarmony website is for hooking up, brother. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, that's what it's used for. And the person that recommended it, I told him about. He read it himself, and he said, "Boy, what you put in there?" I said, "The truth." It asked.
But what if exactly it's the truth?
I put in the truth.
And what if it's built to be controversial?
I mean,
Which I believe it is.
It is built to be controversial. It's a hookup.
Right. So
look. What's the Madison? The Christian. What is the Christian? What? One of them, all them joints, man, is a dating to hookup sites. That's what it is, man.
Here's the crazy thing, man. If y'all allow me to say this, man. When I was in high school, I did my thing, man, because I fell under the auspices of my brother, man. You know, he was that guy. You know what I'm saying? And I was popular because of this dude. Right? And I went through my experience, and I experienced everything when it comes to life, man. I'm just being totally honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I was able to do whatever the hell I was able to do, and I was still not happy. And when I got to college, I met this woman, man, that met the challenge for me. You know what I'm saying? And you know what she taught me? How to shop, how to save money, how to be respectful, how to be all these different things that's positive in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Now, I could have chose to be like I was under the auspices of my brother, who was that dude. And I was getting whatever the hell I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the wherewithal to say, you know what? I want somebody who give a shit about me, not because I'm the brother of Keith Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the end result is I've been with the same woman for the last 40 years.
It's beautiful.
For the last 40 years. So you have to understand your experience and what you're dealing with and what you're going through. If it is your contention to be with a female on the internet, to be with a female, you're not fit to find that fucking woman, because that's not personal experience. Yeah. It's not that.
Unless
you have to deal with somebody on a personal level. I don't like to hang out at clubs. I'm not cool with the cats that I'm cool with on the basketball court. I'm not cool with them because I'm personal. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I learned with my wife to be personal. I enjoy being with her by my goddamn self.
Mm.
Okay.
That's what I like.
Keith, you sound like you want to
elaborate. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I was going to say that what I like don't like me. And I have no problem meeting. I don't care if I was on the red carpet in Beverly Hills or somewhere. Let me get dressed and let me go in and have some conversation. I won't come out by myself.
Exactly.
Now keeping them, that's the problem. Because soon as I set some boundaries, I'm telling you who I am, she's telling me who she is. But what I'm telling them about me, for somehow either they take it that I'm trying to change them, or I don't, or what I hear most of the time, well, you just stuck in your ways, you don't bend. And I say, this has nothing to do with bending. I'm letting you know who I am. So if that's a problem, I think the funniest one I've had was me and this girl was hitting off really well. And we ain't together now because of the damn Christmas tree. The Christmas, I don't celebrate holidays. Right. I don't celebrate Christmas.
That's life.
I ain't around. I don't do Christmas. So I won't be participating in it.
Okay, all right, Keith. You know me. You've been my friend for a very long time. You need to explain to me about the Christmas tree. I want you to be quick.
Oh yeah, I told her.
What about the Christmas?
I told her it's pagan, and then told her, I said,
Okay,
for
stop right there.
mm-hmm,
As far as it being pagan, I understand and I'm respecting
mm-hmm,
your religion and all that. But
mm-hmm.
is it going to give you a year of bad luck or anything like that to be with that woman because she feels this certain way? I'm being
Yeah.
the advocate right now. You feel what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like what is it as far as the compromise is concerned that you feel that you couldn't be with her because of a Christmas tree?
No, she couldn't be with me.
Because
She broke it off.
she said something about it. See that's not. She's not. My opinion. Your
Yeah.
friend, she wasn't for you anyway. Because if she wanted to break up
Yeah.
with you about a fucking Christmas tree, she wasn't worth it anyway. And
Yeah.
I don't even know this woman.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing that's
Hold
controversial, man.
on for a second. We've been knowing each other for a long time. We done had a deep conversation about our lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
You telling me that you was blessed. If somebody wants to break up with you because you don't like a Christmas tree, you don't need them in your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So let me just say this to you. You and I, we talk all the time. And I tell you, I don't promote you wilding out. But I say to you, embrace it to the point where you don't have to wild out anymore.
All right.
Because what it does is contribute to your happiness.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing, period. That's all I have
See,
to say.
what you two have, that longevity and that, I know it ain't easy. I know it's ups and downs and all around and all of that. But I want,
I'm
I
going
would like to
to say,
experience that.
I understand what you want and all that, but understand it took fucking work.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It took fucking work. I'm going to speak personally. I'll speak personally. Love my wife to death. Would do anything for her. But a lot of times she has gotten on my fucking nerves for trivial things. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She had the right to. So I sat there and I accepted. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to it, it is my choice to make her happy, to be with her, to give her everything that I got. And in order for me to make my choice for that, it was me. I had to really understand who the hell I was.
Man,
Mm.
here's the thing, man. I'm speaking from my own personal view, man. Allow me to finish my point, man. My wife, man, it wasn't about me. You know what I'm saying? I discovered how the fuck she made me happy. You know what I'm saying? And I was surprised, but I was like, oh wow, okay. You show me shit that I don't know. You introducing me to things that I was confused about and all that shit. It was never about me saying, well, I need this and I need that. It wasn't about that. She infiltrated my insecurities and all that bullshit. And it was about, but hey, I know you feel this way, but let me show you something, man. And what do you think? It wasn't an argument. It was that actual question. What do you think? And then that allowed me to think about myself in my own way, and if that coincides with how I think. She didn't try to convince me to be with her. She said, "This is what I can give you, and does that coincide? Does it make sense?" And it did. It wasn't confusing. It wasn't hard. You know what I'm saying? To
Mm-hmm.
this day, 40 years later, after raising kids, going to college, having jobs and all that shit, the only thing I think about is that at the end of the day, do me and her have time to do us? That's what I think about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I think about. And it has nothing to do with her thinking or how shit should be, because she's gonna tell me what she wants, and it's up to me and it comes upon me to give her that. But but by the same token, I have dreams and hopes and aspirations too. And if she fit in
Okay.
that category, we gonna do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
If that's not the case, then we move on
Yeah.
and be amicable and shit,
Okay.
and no hard feelings.
So
Keith.
this at this point, I don't know what I don't know how to do it, man.
All right.
So,
Well, look, Chief.
mhm.
I put it on the screen. I don't know if you read it yet. KJ has an opinion.
Mhm.
Has offered an opinion about what's going on. He said,
Yeah, I was reading it.
yeah, maybe the woman's opinion had something to do with the way Keith's position was presented. One needs to be both sides come to an understanding. If it really couldn't, okay. And really and truly, KJ said something that I was thinking at the same time, was the simple fact that you're a traditional man, right? But you weren't dealing with a traditional woman. Traditional man treat a woman with respect, treat her with kindness, treat her with some of these things,
Labels, right?
treat her with
Yeah.
all these different things, right? But she wasn't thinking about that. What she's thinking about is the poom poom was magical. Her looks was magical. You was mesmerized by her. But what you were doing was following the protocol of what you were taught.
Yeah.
Feel what I'm saying? But the
But
thing
is
about
it about the boom boom, bro? Is it about that?
It's not for me. That's
no,
a part
Hell
of it,
no, it's not.
but
that's
that
the
ain't the
part.
main part.
Because you could pay a motherfucker to give you that.
But that's my point. That's how she see it. You know what I mean? Depending on how she was taught. Well, you look, the man, the key to a man is the stomach, and between the golden arches of your legs. Right? So just to be
You know
crude.
what? You know what made me? You know what made me be about my woman? I'm gonna tell you exactly the point. One of the points, not the exact point, but one of the points.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I want to finish the point with Keith. But go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish your point.
This is what made me think about my woman. We had moved to Pittsburgh, and me and my brother was arguing, and my wife had a butter knife in her hand, and I looked at my wife and I was like, "Put a butter knife on my brother? Put that shit away." Keith, you remember this shit, right? I said,
Yeah.
"Put that shit away, man, because this nigga can whoop both our asses right now." We done if he decide us to be done. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, she didn't give a shit about anything. She was protecting me as best she could. You know what I'm saying? Until she got to know my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And once she got to know my brother, it wasn't about putting a knife on him. It was like, this nigga getting on my goddamn nerve. I need to call his brother and figure out how to make me and his relationship work. Did that or did that not happen?
I mean, it happened. Yeah, of course.
Okay, that let me know then that woman was about me because she went to the source, bruh, to make us happy.
Yeah. I mean, and that
Even though she put a butter knife on him when she didn't know him.
I get it.
So my point is this. She had to look beyond her own personal self in terms of our relationship to make us work, even though she pulled the butter knife.
Yeah.
You feel me? And she went to the source. Hey man, this nigga over here getting on my damn nerves. How do I deal with him? And please forgive me for pulling the butter knife. And she was about me. That let me know that she went beyond herself when she was defending herself in me to be about me, to find out how to deal with me. That let me know that she wanted to be with me.
I got you.
And she went to the source.
Mhm.
Even though she was combative with the source.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, Keith.
Mhm.
As I was saying to you, is the only person that's actually, when it comes to your relationship, that really means something is you on how you see things. You know what I'm saying? Like KJ said, he added, maybe the woman's position had something to do with the way
KJ, what's up, bro?
Keith's position was presented, right? I'm reading this over again because I want you to understand where it's coming from when he says it.
Mhm.
That one needs to have both sides come to an understanding. If it really couldn't, okay. Now,
Mhm.
what I see when he says this thing, right? And I want you to answer, and then we're gonna close this. We're gonna close this thing up. He feels as though you should have came at her from straight gate, like, yo, this is me, this is what's up, blah blah blah, bit bit bit, right? And I spoke on it, and you was being traditional, like, yo, I'm going to wine and dine you, date you, and do these different things. But it has a lot to do with the mindset of the person that you were dealing with. If that person has a selfish mindset, if they have a selfish mindset, brother, it don't make a difference how well you do.
I know. I learned that the hard way.
And look, the smallest thing, think about it.
Yeah.
I never gave you any advice, but the one thing I always reiterate was, how do you feel? Because that's what matters. You feel me? Because
Oh yeah.
you could tell me, I can tell you, you don't know my wife, right? But I can tell you when we sitting up there bonding, man, my wife don't understand and all that bullshit and blah, 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 bit, 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 right? You getting one side of it, right? But you never hear what kind of person I am who's receiving that shit, or whoever who provoked it, maybe. You feel what I'm saying? What I'm doing is helping you to hear my cry. But what I did to you as a friend is like, hey, you, what the fuck is, am I lying to you? Am I lying right now? What the fuck is you doing?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you see it? Because that's the important part of it. You telling me how you can spoil a woman, that's cool. Cool. I get it. Right? But then we got to analyze why you spoiling her like that. You feel me?
And that's the thing. I don't consider it spoiling. I'm just being me.
That's my
I'm
point.
having a good time.
That's my
A
point.
woman know what the hell she want. Here's the thing, bro. Just like I said last week. My wife say, it's Mother's Day and so on and so forth. What you gonna do for me? Whatever, I'm gonna let you decide. That's her thing. I'm gonna let you decide. I either pass or fail on that bullshit. I went out and bought a dozen roses.
Okay. Pass the
She
fail.
pulled out one rose.
But see, that's the whole point, though. Why is it your job, Damon? Why is
Hold on, Keith.
Okay.
I swear to God, it looked like she prayed over that one rose and made that one rose special, and the other 11 roses withered and died in the damn shit I brought it in.
Well, that's my point, though, bro. Mother's Day is not our job
And I said,
if we got children.
I said, wife, why are we throwing his roses away? She was like, I ain't asked you for that shit. I asked you to, you asked me what I wanted, and I told you what I wanted, and you got this shit confused. You bought a dozen roses. You know what I'm saying? And I picked one out of the roses. I picked one rose out of the joint.
Bro, did you get it confused?
No,
You left it up to me. I mean, what the fuck?
I did get it confused.
I'm not critiquing.
I did get
what I'm saying.
I did get hold on. I did get it confused because when I asked her, "Do you want a dozen roses?" she said, "No, I don't."
I get it.
And I got him any goddamn way because I was trying. I tried the easy way out of this shit, and she pulled one out to make me understand that it was important that you made this purchase, but this one rose
Is enough.
is enough, and it consists of you understanding that it don't take a dozen, motherfucker.
I get it.
It take that one, and that one matters most to the other 11 roses. It matters most.
Yeah.
And what that is that, dude, if I challenge you to do something for Mother's Day, it means something. Not that superficial shit.
I
I
get it.
could have bought her a diamond watch or a ring. And she could have had the same attitude. What mattered most to her is us, what our life means, and all that. And you buying a dozen roses is that you just trying to placate me. You're just trying to placate me. And that's what women think about, how we placate them. Well, because I chose you as my woman,
Okay, no.
other than anybody else, that should mean anything if I buy you a watch that's
Okay, so
$2,000 or $3,000. I've done that before. And she like, and you know what? Yeah, she's never won that watch I bought for her for $2,000.
So
She's never worn that shit.
Damon, hold on. Let's flip it. And this is the last thing of the day. Let's fucking flip it. What the fuck has been done for you? And I'm not saying it's like nothing's never been done for you. I'm saying to you, as a husband, as a boyfriend, Keith, what has been special to you that you know your woman has went out of her way?
No, understand the question you asking, bro. Understand the question you asking. Go ahead and finish.
I already did. I asked the question.
Bro, I don't buy shit for my wife or whatever because,
it has nothing to do with that. What did you receive is what I'm asking.
The fact that I appreciate the person that I'm buying shit for, bro.
For Father's Day, what did you receive?
For Father's Day?
We flipping. I told you we flipping this. Now,
flipping it. You asked me for Father's Day. What did I expect?
I understand what you and sister-in-law.
For Father's Day, you asked me what I expect.
Yeah.
Not a goddamn thing. To be left alone. Peace of mind.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because that's what I choose.
Why do you choose it? I'm asking.
Bro, you talking to a motherfucker who was born a day after Christmas.
Okay.
I don't expect shit. Never have. I don't. That's not important to me. What's important to me is you being present. That's important to me.
Okay. Keith, what did you receive when you was in a relationship with the same woman that I? Did she at least, because you was hands-on, did you receive anything? What about your birthday?
Nothing. I even pointed it out.
Okay.
With each one of them, I pointed it out.
Why do you think you didn't receive anything for your birthday?
That's a good question. I really don't know what it is. I just took it as they just didn't think about it,
I'm saying
or it wasn't important to them.
you was in a
I
relationship.
literally don't care.
You was in that relationship for about 10 years, right?
Yeah, this has been
Okay.
every relationship I've been in. Yeah.
You didn't receive anything for your birthday.
No, and I had to put it. I had to tell them that because on her birthday, she was giving me attitude. This particular one you talking about was giving me mad attitude.
Okay.
I got her and her parents, took all of them out. We all went to a comedy show and everything.
Yeah.
And then I got back. I gave her her gift. Then she would look kind of embarrassed, but very happy about the gift that she received because it was something she wanted and needed.
Yeah.
And then I said, happy birthday, love you, in spite of. And then she said, in spite of what? I said, you've been a dick all day, but in spite of that,
Yeah.
cool, enjoy. And then she said, well, it's not like I don't do anything for you. I said, you haven't done anything for me.
Cook you meals.
Yeah, and you weren't really doing all of that. So
I'm being sarcastic, man, but go ahead.
Yeah, I know, but you hitting on it. But then she said, what I get you for your birthday? I said, nothing. I did. I said, tell me what you got me. Or short, Jimmy. We in my house. Where is it? Then she thought about it. She said, okay, Christmas. I said, nothing. How about she named it. We went shopping and I bought the thing. I said, yeah, we went shopping for the children, for your children. You didn't give me anything.
It's the maturity level, bro. I really believe
So that was
heart.
every one of them. Because the ones my age, and a couple of them older than me, they were worse than that. And I told you that. I said I had expected from her, but for them,
yeah,
they on the same level I'm on.
You know what it is, man? To be honest with you, is the maturity level. And it makes no difference what age you are. It's the maturity level. Is what they feel the expectation is. You know what I'm saying? Because see, me, I'm like my brother. I'm like you. I don't have no expectation. You don't got to give me nothing.
Yeah.
Right? But do not make an excuse why you don't give me nothing.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't make an excuse for that, because what that is, that's insulting more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it's not a disparagement on the person. It's just the fact that I go in under expectation. Well, I really don't have no expectation about this. You know what I'm saying? If you give me something, I'm going to acknowledge it. I'm cool with it. I'm happy. But
you know what requires me to think, man, real talk on a personal level, man, that if I come to the point, man, who I am as a person, man, and I give what I give, that's what it is, bro. I give what I give. Now, if you convince me to think about what I don't get, then that's outside of my damn self, bro.
But see, that has nothing to do with it, man, because they go hand in hand. I'm not.
It has everything to do with it, bro.
Hold on. I'm not talking about giving somebody a gift to get something back. Has nothing to do with that, because you do have.
Then what are you saying then? What point are you trying to make?
I'm trying to tell you. You do have to acknowledge that person did not, as much as you worked to give them the things that you give them, that person has not worked to get you anything. So that really and truly.
But I'm in the place of my life, brother. I give what I give, man, and that's the only thing I have control over, man. I don't think about anything other than that. That's what it is.
We're talking about you being married for how many years you've been together, and how many years you and your wife you've been married.
Been married 29. Been
But,
married 29 years, been together 40 years.
okay, so listen to what I'm saying to you.
Okay.
I'm talking to a man that's single, and I'm not critiquing his relationship.
Well,
What
I
I'm,
wasn't there. I wasn't speaking on that aspect of it, bro.
but that's what I'm
I'm talking
speaking.
about me personally.
I know that. This is what I'm speaking on. Me and Keith was talking about this before you came back on.
Okay, then I stand corrected.
The point I was trying to make to you and make to Keith is, look, I get that. I understand that because you give because you want to give. But if it's a small part of you, like, yo, what about me? And you really, and especially if you say something about not receiving something, then you got to go back to the drawing board like, yo,
Yeah, I agree with that.
be here.
But my wife never put me in that position, bro.
I didn't say she did.
I didn't say you say she did. What I'm saying is, bro, in my relationship, it was about give and take. It's about understanding what you give and what you receive.
And this
You know what I'm saying? And I come to the conclusion that I can only give what I give. Nobody's in control of that shit, bro. Nobody.
I get it. This is why I'm just talking to Keith about this, because just like
Okay.
the relationship me and Keith talking about has been years. So it's not his current relationship. You know what I'm saying? And he and I have talked about this stuff. And really and truly, when I say we talked about it, it was. I wasn't like, yo, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, it wasn't like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Keith. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I just asked you, well, look, what about you? If you know what I'm saying? That's always been my concern. Well, what about you? Because
Keith is a good brother, and he goes through his maturation process. At the end of the day, I truly believe he's going to find the person that he needs in his life. I believe that.
I do
because I experienced that in my life.
I do too.
That's why I talk to y'all, because I mean, I call you guys the masters, because you've
I ain't no master,
navigated
bro.
this stuff. Hey, compared to me.
Keith, it's all about conversation. We have conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because as much as I care about my wife and love her to death, I've made mistakes. You understand what I'm saying? And she's made mistakes.
I agree with that.
What y'all do when the conversation is not you making conversation, but it's not productive? They not having conversation. They keeping it petty, or they keeping it
Me personally,
stupid or something.
me personally, I ball the fuck out because I'm not gonna sit up here. I'm mature to the point now. Now this is maturity I just received. I am mature to the point, just receiving this maturity, where I walk away like, yo, go ahead, you mad? I'll get back with you a little later.
Right.
But here's my side of it, KB. Here's my side of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can come to that conclusion if you're on a selfish level. And I'm not making judgment against anybody. I'm saying in my own personal aspect of it. If I choose to be this person in this relationship, I have to deal with the situation as it is. I'm saying if I give my whole self and the person don't accept my whole self, and it doesn't work out, and it doesn't work out. No hard feelings. That's what it is. And I'm not going to take it personal, because if I do, it's going to disrupt my life and make my life messed up.
Yeah.
Because I'm angry and despondent and all that bullshit. I'm not going to do that. I'm too old to do that, man. I am at the point in my life where I need to be loved by somebody. Now, I'm going to be that. If a person don't accept that and be on some bullshit, then I know without animus not to argue with that shit and move on without animus.
Do you feel like it's lingering though? Because you want to talk it out. You want to get it out, iron it
That's
out, but they won't do
that's
it. They
that's
won't do
because
it.
you
You-
that's because you care. But
Yeah,
that doesn't mean that that other person's supposed to coincide with that shit, KB.
Keith,
yeah,
let me just say this to you.
because it keeps lingering for me. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
But let me just say this to you. It lingers because you are single. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Damon and myself is speaking from having a relationship, a long-term relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only strength that you have, the only advantage that you have is you can walk away
Okay,
and go
Yeah,
and
that's
go
what I've
yeah,
been doing.
and go
yeah,
look
but
for someone else. Now,
yeah, but
if,
it's
hold on,
nuances to that though.
let me just finish. If it's somebody else that, if it's somebody that you care about and you want to make it work, I understand why you stay. You know what I'm saying? But really and truly, I emphasize you are single. Now, if this woman wants to make it work with you, and I'm just speaking in general terms more than anything. If they want to make it
Mm-hmm.
work, if they want to do all these different things, then that's cool. Then you do have some time to devote to it. You understand what I'm saying? You still have some time. I'm not saying, hey man, let this shit go, fuck that, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is you have a comfort zone that you mess with.
Mm-hmm.
Keep yourself in your comfort zone. But you're gonna have an alarm say, oh, Keith, man, wait a minute, man, we here too long.
Mm-hmm.
Or Keith, wait a minute, she's trying, so let's hear her out some more. You feel what I'm saying? It breaks down to you. You know what I mean? And look, and don't come to that conclusion when you got the shiny face and shit, and you breathing hard and your back hurt because you done put in work. Don't do that, because that's the wrong
Right.
time to make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose right, and that's the case if you choose to engage in that bullshit, man.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Just because a person is not on the same level as you does not diminish you, bro,
Right.
at
Okay.
all. It does not diminish you. You can love with your whole heart, and the person did not coincide. Does not diminish you. And that is the thing that we struggle with as a society, man. Giving love and compassion, and the other person doesn't coincide with it, and we feel like we are less than. We are not. They are. Because they don't understand what it means to love and be compassionate about something.
It is
And
energy.
they're not on the same level. And that does not diminish you. And you have to recognize that and move forward and move on. Hey, you don't agree? You don't love the same way? Okay, let's agree to disagree and move on. And
There's
there's
a,
no
Mm-hmm.
animus in that,
there's a
bro.
there's a such thing as energy vampires, bro.
I believe that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, there is because you are angry
Yeah.
and you want to and you want to establish yourself in a certain way, and you don't have to. If a person don't understand what that means, I can love a person who don't love me, and they can say, you know what, they're not ready.
Just because you love them, you can still let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly,
I
and
did that.
not be them, and not be
And I've done that.
diminished, and not
I've
be
done that
diminished in
because of
who
that.
you are.
Yeah, that's all.
Keith, you a good person, man.
Thanks,
From
man.
what I know about you, you're a good person, and you're about that. If a woman don't recognize that, that is not your issue. That's their issue.
Yeah,
And the crazy part about it is we all at a certain age where we understand that. If
Mm-hmm.
we choose not to understand that, that's because we want to be combative and shit. I'm not finna argue with somebody who don't understand love and compassion
yeah,
and respect. I'm not finna argue with a person who don't understand that. That's their issue. And that's not to say that at some point in time, they don't figure that shit out in their life. But that's not your issue. Your issue is that I'm gonna love and be who I am. If you don't respect that, then that's your shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be okay with that.
All right. Well, look, we're gonna end this because we're going on 3 hours, man. And it's been great conversations. And
Oh yeah.
you guys have given your all, and I always appreciate that. I always appreciate that. So y'all, thank you,
Thank
Damon.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Keith.
all for having me.
We appreciate you showing up when you do, Keith, because you come with the realness.
That brother, when he don't show up, he show up. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah.
You come with the realness, and we definitely appreciate who you are, man. Thank
last week, Keith, last week he came with some shit. And I was like, damn.
you.
We ain't talk about it, but he came with some shit. You know what I'm saying?
There's no doubt about that because he a truck driver. Hey, Keith, shout your business out, man. If it works that way, let them know what you do, and if you want to give them contacts and all that, that's cool, man. But yeah, send them to me if you want me to do that in the near future. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Okay.
it might be somebody watching that really and truly support independent truckers.
Okay. Yes. I'm the name of the business is Keithy Bees. It's my name, KEITHIE B'(S) Transportation LLC. And I'm over the road truck driver. I have my own semi. I have a 53-foot drive-in trailer, and I find my own work. I go online, I find my own work, and I do support. I've been looking for black businesses to support because I guess sometimes, I know you want to go through brokers and different things, but if you need somebody that you can just call and say, "Hey, I got something that needs moved," you can reach me. Email is Keithy B's Transportation LLC at gmail.com, and just hit me up and let me know what you got. And I don't mind. I'll come and help you move whatever you have. Um,
Well,
and
I'm gonna do
move
my
mean
part.
I'll drive and deliver. I ain't picking up nothing. But I ain't want to throw that word "move" out there too loosely. But
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. No, look, no, he legitimate. He's a legitimate long hauler. Is what he does.
exactly, yeah. But I help you get it there. And like I say, a lot of times, if you brothers or sisters, when y'all got something that need moved or need transported, and you want a better rate than probably what another shipper or something would give you, you let me know. I'll help you out.
I'm gonna look out for you, bro.
No
Okay,
doubt, brother.
good, good.
No doubt.
'Cause it's
Look,
warming up now. I can come up that way.
look,
Because
this man
to
is
be
independent.
to be truly honest, we need a brother like you, man, for real.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The bartering system is not dead.
He's not dead.
Nuh-uh.
You know, So, hey, look, my man. Thank you for coming through, Damon. Thank you for bringing the heat, brother. You know what I'm saying? It was a great
Yes,
show.
yes, sir.
In my opinion, it was a great episode. We did what we did. Jaquari, we see you next week, brother. And we did what we did. Damon, like I said, you came on strong. You did your thing. You know what I mean? And
Yes, sir.
I let you live. You gave us everything.
I
Yes.
thank you for that.
Yeah, great job. But look, first of all, we had room to let you do your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Some days when we got enough people, I need you to go in and be strategic and say your piece and then let us go to the next thing. But today, You know, I let you just give us your. We heard your cry. Your cry was enormous. Thank you, Damon. Great job, Key.
Hmm.
Always a pleasure to you, man. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, bro.
Anytime. Love you, brothers. I'm glad. I want you all to know that
Love
I
you.
Love
really
you too,
appreciate
bro.
you talking to me.
Love you
Let me
too,
be
man.
a part of it.
Hey, Keith, with your consistent ass.
It's going. Look, your situation's gonna change, man. It's just the fact
My
that
man.
we got to get you. We got to get you around some of them old. You know, we got to get you around some real country girls, not the ones who think they stars.
Well, I ain't trying to do that, baby.
No,
Hey,
no,
but you as a man,
my
do
man,
that,
no,
dude.
he know what I'm talking about. You know, around them stars. Cause see, when you're not looking, that's when what you need comes straight to you. You know what I'm
I appreciate you, bro.
Oh yeah.
Real
I
talk.
appreciate you too, man. I appreciate both of you.
saying?
Thank you.
Damon and Keith, thank y'all tonight, man. This is a Strong Perspective podcast.